Hey folks, Mike Naso here with the latest on the tropics. We do still have hurricane watches in effect for areas of Nicaragua and Costa Rica there in Central America, with the expectation of our system in the Caribbean still getting close to hurricane strength before landfall late Friday, early Saturday. Now here's the latest information on our system as of 5 p.m. Atlantic time from the National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida, and you can see it's at 12.0 north, 75.8 west, and it continues to move towards the west at about 20 miles per hour. It is not yet a named storm. It still is a wave with tropical storm winds. There was some indication that it might kind of have a center, and that's what they're pegging at 12 and 75, but it's not well defined enough yet to call it a tropical storm and give it a name. However, as it slows down a little bit, it's moving a couple miles an hour slower than it was yesterday. As it slows down a little bit, organizes a little bit, it should become a tropical storm either later tonight or sometime tomorrow, and then approach hurricane strength as it makes that move towards landfall in Nicaragua or Costa Rica. We do have a hurricane watch in effect from the border of Costa Rica and Nicaragua on off towards the north, as well as tropical storm warnings for the same area. Still have tropical storm warnings in effect for the coastline there of Colombia. And we now have a tropical storm watch on the other side, the Pacific side, with the expectation that this system will become a tropical storm, maybe a Category 1 hurricane, and move across and just straddle south of Mexico as it moves on towards the west-northwest, hopefully staying away from the Mexican coastline and the Baja, but becoming a hurricane. If it becomes a strong hurricane, it's going to do it in the Pacific, not in the Atlantic. It's not that the environment's not good, it just spent too much time screwing around. It doesn't have enough time before Central America to become a powerful hurricane like we were talking about a few days ago. Could still become a hurricane though, and the main threat is heavy rain. Here's the satellite imagery of it, the visible, and you can see kind of a pathetic naked swirl in there if you use your imagination, but it's still moving on off towards the west, 20 miles an hour very quickly there. And this band of heavy weather to the north of it is where the NOAA plane, the aircraft flying out there, are finding those tropical storm force winds. So again, it has tropical storm winds, heavy rainfall that could cause life-threatening flooding and mudslides. It just doesn't have a well enough surface circulation. You need that low-level, closed-off west wind at the surface, because obviously a tropical cyclone at the surface is where the winds blow apart your house at the surface of the beach. You gotta have it at the surface. And we just don't have it yet. And so it's not right to name a system if it's not really worthy of it. Nevertheless, it should become a tropical storm later tonight or tomorrow and continue towards land. You can see the upper level divergence is high, so there is a lot of instability out there. The waters are very warm. It's got moist air in the mid-levels, the upper levels, not a lot of dry air, not a lot of wind shear to speak of. However, the low-level convergence is not that good with this, and I think the fast motion hasn't allowed it to catch its breath and get organized. If it slows down and is no longer around South America, has a chance to bubble over those waters, we should see it become a tropical storm and potentially a hurricane. So the main impacts with this, number one, we're talking about the system, heavy rain. It doesn't really matter about the winds. If this is a 40-mile-an-hour storm, a 60-mile-an-hour storm, a minimal hurricane, obviously the stronger it gets, the worse the wind damage could be. But as it blows through, it's really going to be the threat of heavy rain. And in the more mountainous terrain, you can get orographic lift. So what that basically means is you get clouds that build higher and higher as they hit hills and mountains, and it ends up creating more rising moisture and rainfall. And so you could get mudslides and flooding, and that is the main threat with this. Hurricane conditions are possible though. This could be right on the edge of hurricane intensity as it comes ashore, and a hurricane's a hurricane. And then obviously tropical storm conditions are likely as it moves on through Central America over the next couple of days. We're going to watch that very carefully there. Now we've also been watching our system in the Gulf of Mexico. Now the Gulf of Mexico, this is interesting. This system off Texas is an invest that we had the aircraft flying out there. It kind of had a center, but it was so disorganized. In other words, we've got two systems that technically are tropical depressions or storms, but they're so pathetic that we need to see a little bit more from them before we give them names. Look at this radar here. Right there near Galveston Bay, that looks like a center of a tropical depression or a tropical storm, but too little too late, trying right at the end. Nevertheless, with this, the impact's the same. Heavy rainfall, you can see that radar, there's some good rainfall echoes showing up there right around Galveston. Areas there, the next 3 days, heavy rainfall for areas of Texas. So we're going to continue to watch our system in the Gulf, but the main feature is going to be down in the Caribbean. The other wave has a low chance for development. We've been watching it. It doesn't look that great today. You know, a few days ago, these systems looked a lot better, but yeah, now they're closer to being named, but they don't look as hot. It's a reminder that it's still early in the year. You know, if this was August 20th, August 30th, forget about it. It would be all hands on deck for hurricane activity. We're not there yet, but through time, we will be. So we're going to continue to watch this system in the Caribbean. Hurricane watches are in effect. It is forecast to get close to hurricane strength, heavy rain and mudslide threat for areas there of Central America. I'm Mike Nasa with the latest. Please like, subscribe, hit the subscribe button, share, and I'll be back with frequent updates on this system and a lot more as we get further into hurricane season 2022.